Now, before people hear SEO and like cover their ears and go running, I'm going to
Yes.
preface this entire conversation that I'm going to open your eyes and your ears that it's actually pretty easy. So
Oh, wow. I
that's
can't
the
wait.
tease. It's not difficult.
I
Most
can't
people
wait.
hear that acronym and just want to go running, go bury their head in the
Yeah, it's
sand.
so true. Welcome back to Exploring Growth. I scheduled this interview probably, I don't know, was it 5-6 weeks ago? And I've been super excited about doing it ever since. I mean, literally, it's come in my mind probably 10 times since then, in the normal course of just doing business. Because today's business landscape is changing rapidly with the onset of AI. I've been talking to a lot of my guests as it relates to their domain, how they're utilizing AI, how AI is changing things. And I don't want this to become an AI podcast, but this sort of the nature of what we're doing in business.
So you're
right
going to
now.
be replaced soon. Watch out.
Yes. So hopefully I can be replaced and I'll go on a beach somewhere and enjoy myself. But it just, right now, it just, as a marketer, especially the topic of SEO. I mean, I'm not an SEO expert, but we have one here today. It's right. I feel like it's right at the heart of the change that's happening because it's content. Really,
Correct.
that's what we're talking about. So I think creating content that gets found and drives people to your business was tricky before, but now it seems that that whole roadmap is changing or has changed dramatically. And I'm hoping to understand some more of how to build SEO so that we can drive brand and drive leads. So to satisfy all my questions about where SEO is going, I have the pleasure of bringing on David Kaminsky, CEO of Collaborate Pros. Welcome, David.
Thanks, Lee. It is really fun to be here. Now, before people hear SEO and like cover their ears and go running, I'm going to preface this entire conversation that I'm going to open your eyes and your ears that it's actually pretty easy. So,
oh wow, I can't wait.
That's the tease. It's not difficult. Most people hear that acronym and just want to go running, go bury their head in the sand.
Yeah, it's so true. I do too. As a marketer, like I love the impact that we have had and can have with SEO, but I just don't want to have anything to do with it, really. I mean,
it's like a political landscape, right?
Yes.
Because everybody wants to make it confusing, and Google throws this like 800-page book of all their rules.
Yes.
It's not that hard. So we'll make it easy for everybody.
That is delight to my ears. Before we jump into the topic, tell everybody about your background, who you are, what's Collaborate Pros all about.
Yeah, sure. So I actually started in the window cleaning industry in Arizona 25 years ago. This last month was our 25th year anniversary. So I've made it in business 25 years. There's a lot of things I did wrong.
Awesome,
many things, right?
Of course,
things I did right. We are the largest company in Arizona and Colorado, so that's kind of cool. We're multi-state, multi-cities. The best part is I own those businesses still, but I don't run them. So done a really good job of hiring the right people, paying them well, and then exiting the business while still owning it. So, but my passion really turned in, and I grew the business 100% without spending money on advertising. Now, I don't recommend that because that's a really good way to fail at your business. But what I did was I dove in and tried to figure out what I need to do on my website to get it to show up in different cities, different search terms. And I call them transactional search terms, like a near me. If somebody's searching, in my case, a window cleaner near me, that's what I wanted to show up for. And I figured if I could get in the maps and if I get in the organic listings, then I wouldn't have to pay Google. And that's pretty much what I did. So I started Collaborate Pros, and collaborating means working together. So I love other business owners, and I just simply love to help other business owners.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I have worked with and been, intrinsically part of a lot of commercial type of professional service businesses like that. So I know, that this is a natural progression from, if anyone's wondering, window cleaning to, SEO or content, it's a natural progression because you have to spend a lot of time on the inbound side for that business to.
Yeah. If I would have been smart, I would have started like a pool cleaning business.
Okay.
Because if you think about a pool cleaning business, you just need like 50 customers in your set because you show up every week.
Yeah.
In the window cleaning industry, like, man, I need 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 calls a day, to keep feeding the beast in the machine. Because, people really get their windows cleaned once, twice a year,
That's
unless
right.
you're lucky and you find those good customers. But So yeah, that's kind of what drove my fuel and my passion behind it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into this. My opening question is, has all the hard work that we've done in the past, building online authority, backlinks and, page authority, all this, has it gone out the window since this
Yes,
new?
yes, and no. So
Okay.
there's some that don't matter anymore, like page authority
Yeah.
and domain authority. It honestly stopped mattering about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
I had a friend in Florida who had a pressure washing company, and he's like, I have 50,000 backlinks and my domain authority is 60.
Mhm.
He was showing up for like 13 keywords, and they
Oh,
were all
wow.
related to his brand.
Yeah.
So, and that was maybe 4 years ago, 3 or 4
Yeah.
years ago. So, that long ago, authority wasn't really mattering. So, he had a whole bunch of bad backlinks. Now,
Hmm.
links that do matter are citations, right?
Yeah.
Yelp, nobody likes Yelp, but you really need a listing on Yelp.
Yeah.
It's because it shows up. If you're a accident attorney, or if you're a doctor and you search something and like ZocDoc shows up,
Hmm.
that's considered a citation, a business listing. So something that's showing up in the results, you want your business listed in there. So those absolutely matter. All the other garbage, not so much. Now, however, if you are, let's say you're a dentist, we work with a lot of dentists. If you're a dentist
Hmm.
and you have a link from another dentist, Google's like, wow, these guys are in the same industry. They must be important.
Hmm.
So, like my window cleaning, if I surround my window cleaning website with a whole bunch of other window cleaners, those are valuable links. But all the other stuff is just garbage, right?
Gotcha. So okay, citations make sense. And another example of that would be what, Google My Business or whatever they're
Yeah,
calling it these
Google My
days.
Business, yeah,
Yeah.
Yahoo Pages,
Yeah.
um, Better Business Bureau, and Chamber
Okay.
of Commerce are some of the best ones. Better
Right.
Business Bureau, like every single business I have, I get
Yeah.
listed there because that's a really powerful
And this is
authority.
primarily like local rankings you're talking about,
Yep. Yep.
for service-based businesses. Um, okay, so now I think the bigger piece of this is the content, like blog writing,
Mhm.
videos, everything you have on your website, off your website. How hard is it going to be to get your content seen and made part of now the AI answer that a user is
Ah,
getting when they search?
all right. I love that question. I will give you the exact formula to show up for whatever search term you want.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, you want to hear that?
I
So
do. Yeah.
it starts with a blog post. I was amazed. I was on a call yesterday with a music teacher in Brooklyn, New York, and he's a really smart guy. He's
Yeah.
really good at teaching music, but he was showing me all of his amazing blog posts. And one of the blog posts is like, top 10 things you want your student to learn when they're learning the piano.
Yeah.
I said to him, when you're searching for a piano instructor, do you type in Google top 10 things I want my student to learn? Or do
No,
you
you don't.
search piano teacher near me?
Yeah.
Right? So
Right.
guess what you're going to title your blog? Piano teacher near
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Okay.
practically, yeah.
Most people are like, holy cow, like I didn't even realize that. So you want your blog post to be the exact search term. Pretty
Oh,
simple.
okay. All right.
Right? So now, and a blog post is breaking news. So now I'm titling the blog post piano teacher near me or
Yeah.
music school near me. Okay.
Yeah.
And it sounds weird, but that's what you title it.
It
Now
does. It
within the
sounds really
blog,
weird.
yeah, within the blog, you want to geotag images. This guy is in Brooklyn, New York. So within
Yeah.
Brooklyn, you want to talk about the city of Brooklyn, the town of Brooklyn a little bit,
Hmm.
right? And it's got to be content that's, that's going to get somebody interested. It's going to educate. So Google wants to
Okay.
show the best results possible. If you're going to educate them, you want it to be like 1,000 words or more, right? So that's part one. Part two is on the homepage of your website. You're talking about content here. You want to write content that's going to, again, educate your customer. So how much do piano lessons cost? Right? That's a question people will
Hmm.
ask. So why not put that question on the homepage of your website? Now, why
Hmm.
not an FAQ section somewhere else on your website? The homepage has the most power and authority on your website. So if you have a link on your homepage, go into an inner page or an inner blog post that I just told you, it just is throwing gas on a fire. So you're going to put, like, if you go to Google and search how much do piano lessons cost, it's a people ask question. It's a little box. You click on it, more come down, more come down. So
Okay.
embed really good questions for your industry. If you're a dentist, how much, do implants cost, whatever, the root canal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In this case, how much is piano lessons? So you put a little article, just a couple paragraphs. Sometimes you can slide a YouTube video in there, and you put it in there and you link it to your blog post. So now, and the link that you put from your homepage is piano lessons near me. Sounds weird, but that's the search term you want to show up for. So you link piano lessons near me to the blog post that says piano lessons near me. Now, guess what? Your website's going to start showing up for piano lessons near me. It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So then would you now reverse engineer that and start looking for questions that people are asking? And
Absolutely.
so then that gives you your to-do list of content to create?
Yep, absolutely. So if you go into Google and search, how much are dental implants or how much are piano lessons, you're going to see people ask. And when you click on one, like three more, you click on one, like
questions.
three more come, and you keep clicking on them.
Kind of
and you
related.
get a whole list. Yeah. Or you can go to a tool called semrush.com.
Yeah, right.
And just type it in there and it'll tell you questions people ask in your industry.
Okay. So that's kind of getting back to keywords, right? So you're mining keywords and trying to figure out which ones can we rank for. And then you're creating content on your site. You mentioned blog articles being sort of a breaking news type of approach. And then service pages, you're going to talk more about services. Do you need to, you mentioned talking about Brooklyn, the local area as part of the blog post. I guess that's in relation to it being near them. So it all does make sense. Okay. So then
let me go into this a little further. So
let's do it. Yeah.
I think you're getting close to what I'm thinking.
Okay.
If you want to show up in Brooklyn for piano lessons near me, the first thing is, if you don't have that content on your website, it's difficult for Google to say, hey, I want to show this business. So now you did the blog post that says piano lessons near me. So now you have the content on your website. And obviously your Google business listing is connected to your website. So now it's more apt to show up for that. Now, how do you get it to really show up in Brooklyn? So let's say your store is leesmusic.com, right? So you're going to go leesmusic.com/Brooklyn. And then from Brooklyn, you're going to have subdomains, piano lessons, guitar lessons, music lessons, all the search terms you want your Google Maps to show up for.
Okay.
Now you're putting the content in a organized fashion under the city Brooklyn. So you can do New York, you can do other cities. I don't know, Queens, whatever, right?
Sure.
So now you do
those
the city,
back to your service pages.
You do the city and then / and then the service or the search term you want to show up for in your Google Maps.
Okay. Cool.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
Really, like what I just told you, that's 99% of SEO. So SEO is not difficult. There you go.
If I start, and we're just still talking localized, primarily service-oriented businesses, just to kind of keep the same train of thought. If I wanted to start a pool cleaning company tomorrow and getting all my stuff together, build my website out, and I have all this knowledge, I'm going to build all this out to spec. What timeline am I looking at trying to compete with everyone else that's doing these things, assuming there's other people in the market doing the right thing?
Yeah, Google does give you authority based on your domain age and your Google Maps age. So if your Google Maps been around for 1 year, but mine's been around for 25, Google's going to like me a lot more. Sure. So there is some authority there. And I'm kind of glad they do that because like now, 25 years later, I've been a big dog. I don't want some young 19-year-old kid to come in and take all my business, right? So Google, I kind of like how they do that. And then same with your website. Like your website, you can get websites moving pretty good that are less than a year if you structure it the right way. So years ago, it used to be a ton of backlinks. Now it's more content and better content. So there are a lot of my favorite AI writing tool is called aiblogging.com, or it's blogging.
Okay.
Yeah, it's aiblogging.com. It's pretty cool. So you put in your content and it writes amazing articles. It literally goes out and finds the top ranking articles for that search term in the whole United States. And then it creates a little content based outline for it. And then it writes it and it's amazing. And guess what? You just push a couple buttons, paid a couple dollars, and there you go. So the key is to get a lot of content on your website. Now, you don't also want to keyword cannibalize yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about piano lessons near me, then you don't want to do piano lessons Brooklyn near me, right? Piano
Mm-hmm.
lessons, piano lessons, piano lessons. You don't want to do it over and over and over. So there's a point
Mm-hmm.
where you can cannibalize yourself. Also, if you're doing blog posts that aren't that great and they're not written that well, we've seen even like our team on some of our customers' websites, we put some content up and it ranked page 1 right away, and we're like, sweet, yes. And then like 2 weeks later, it was gone. Like it didn't show up. Like, literally their chart goes up and then down.
Yeah.
And then so we're like, okay, let's change the content. Let's put it back on, and then it goes back up, and then it goes back down. So Google's telling us like right away, like, yeah, you're close. We liked it for a minute, but it's not that great. So what do? You interlink all your pages. You interlink your blog posts to your pages. And I think Google's realized with AI content, like it's easier and faster to put content on your website. Google wants your content to be updated pretty often. So new content. If you keep coming back to the website, it's the same day after day after day. Google's like, yeah, kind of boring, right?
Sure. So what happens then? I mean, you're talking about using tools to create content with AI, and you extrapolate that out and you have automated content that's automatically made and posted. I mean, this is we're red-blooded Americans. We're going to try to turn things up as high as they go, as possible, as quick as possible.
That, yeah.
So I think getting away from the nature of producing sort of bespoke, resource-driven, user-centric content is going to happen immediately if it's not already happening. And so what do we do about this, where this sort of like new world of, didn't we already have enough content and now we have exponentially more content that's all AI created? How does that help or hurt our chances of ranking?
So you want to organize them in a couple different fashions. You want to do tips, like tips on, playing the piano. So again, we're going back to educating. We're not just saying, hey, piano lessons near me. So we want to have tips and tricks, encouraging, motivational stuff. So you want to educate, and you want to like do the DIY stuff for pretty much any industry. So the more people are educating themselves, and Google measures how long they're on your website. So if you're just trying to sell them all the time, either they're going to buy right away or they're going to be like, I'm out of here. So your time on site's going to be really short. So you want to put YouTube videos. Obviously, Google owns YouTube, right? Put those within your website, your blog posts, and educate. Just simply educate the heck out of your audience. And if you have that mindset, you're not going to go wrong. Like you're really not going to go wrong, because then when you're educating, people are like, wow, this guy gets it. He's giving me some great information. And usually most people are like, wow, that's a lot of work. I'll just pay someone to do it. And that's the perfect customer, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, that was the next question I was going to have for you, is about video. How does that help or hurt, or is it, does it help any more than just written? When you're just talking SEO.
Yeah, as long as you're embedding YouTube videos, like a lot of times I'll link a blog post on how to do something within the blog post, just straight out to a YouTube video that describes how to do it. I won't even embed the YouTube video. And I do it both ways. Like I'll embed the YouTube videos right in the middle of blog posts. But yeah, YouTube is so solid. Like people don't even get it, and they don't even realize. They definitely measure how much you use their YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay. So what it sounds like is, from a user standpoint, is I show up to search for something, and Google's going to give me back its best answer now with AI searching and kind of, pulling together an actual answer versus just links. What happens with, and it makes sense to the inner workings of how you would connect everything. Think resource, think education. More content is better, especially around particular pain points, or actually when you're talking, made me think about the buyer's journey. If someone starts at the top, or if they're coming in at the bottom, having educational or resource-driven content for every part of that journey. That's probably the best way to, as a framework, maybe, to think about content that needs to be created.
Yep. Yep.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can even go to Chat GPT. We do it all the time and say, can you write me, 50 topics on, how to play the piano? Like Chat GPT will split it out real quick. And then you're like,
Mhm.
okay, can I have, 5 different subtopics or blog post article titles on these 50 topics? And Chat GPT spits it out pretty quick. But like you were right to, like, Google's algorithm has changed. I mean, like, I've been doing this for like 15 years, I think,
Mhm.
maybe 13 years, a long time. Um, but like recently, in the last 3 to 4 years, I've never seen Google's algorithm change that much. And everybody's always like said it for years. I'm like, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But like now it's actually really changed. A lot of people get hung up on SEO, like page speed and, this
Mhm.
optimization and that optimization. You don't really need to worry so much about that unless you're in a super competitive industry. But
Mhm.
if you have the right content and you do it well, you're going to get the traffic. Now, a lot of times I've noticed in the last few years, like, you used to search window cleaning or window cleaner,
Mhm.
and Google would list all sorts of local businesses. Now Google lists Amazon products, like window cleaning products. And I'm like, that
Yeah.
sucks. Like, that really made me mad. So I had to, work a little harder at optimizing. Now there's a lot more over optimization now than there used to be. So
Is there
yeah,
is there how, like, um I'd say traditional, historically SEO, there's always been a kind of a trick or a game to it, and once you figure out the game, then you sort of play the game, and then the algorithm changes, and you got to play a little bit different
yeah,
game, different rules,
yeah.
right? Um, is there? It seemed like there is a new, completely new game. And what you're saying, a lot of it is standing to be true, but what's the game now to show up in the answer, right?
Yeah.
Where AI is coming
Yeah.
back with an answer now, and then links too,
Yeah.
because we haven't gotten
A
fully
lot of
there where it's
answers are
just
coming
moving.
back on Quora answers and Reddit threads. So you'll see a lot of Quora and Reddit,
Yeah.
because those are very heavy on just providing answers. So if you can get
Yeah.
a post on Quora or a post on Reddit and then, link it to your website, that's huge. That's really big. Now, I was saying a minute
Okay.
ago about over optimization. So for easy
Hmm.
purposes, if I had if you had leesmusicstore.com or leesmusic.com, that's a great URL because now you can put piano lessons, guitar, drum,
Hmm.
whatever, singing, voice, whatever. But if it was Lee's Piano um, Teaching School.com, we
Yeah.
say Lee's Piano Teacher or Lee's Piano Teaching or Lee's Piano School, whatever. Now you
Hmm.
can't do services piano lessons because you have Lee's Piano Lessons.com.
Okay.
And if you do slash piano lessons or best piano lessons, now you have piano lessons twice in your URL.
Okay.
So Google's really changed a little. They've always liked brands, but now it's
Hmm.
even more so. So if you're a business, like let's say window cleaning, like if I have a URL called professionalwindowcleaning.com, I don't want to say one of my services is window cleaning or residential window cleaning or commercial window cleaning because now I have it in
Right.
my URL twice. So it's going to be
Okay.
professionalwindowcleaning.com/residential. That's it.
Okay.
Or commercial or high rise. So now, like, there was a lot of over optimizations because you kind of had to do that in the URL all the time. And I've
Hmm.
seen sites that are set up like that just tank. So the
Okay.
brand, if you have the brand, then you put the service behind it. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that's kind of getting to a little bit of what I'm concerned about, because if a company has all their URL structured properly, and then they've built all these backlinks to those
Hmm.
URLs, and now it's tanking because they were under the old regime,
Yeah.
they're going to have to change to move ahead forward. So they kind of lose a lot of the work they did in the
Yeah,
past.
the good news is, I mean, there's goods and bads of that. The bad is it's a lot of work, right? The good
Yeah.
news is your websites don't have to be as heavy and as big anymore. Like I used to say many years ago, like if your website had 200 pages and blog posts talking about your product, and I only
Hmm.
had 20, Google's going to like you more. And still, there's a
Hmm.
lot of truth to that. However, um, Google's really made it a lot easier so you don't have to build as big of a website to actually get results. So the
Okay.
guy who's put all the work and stuff in, that's good and all, but it leaves a lot of opportunity. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, SEO has gotten actually easier, in my opinion.
Okay. So it can be a smaller site, not as many pages. It's just more
How it's
tailored to
Yep.
the actual user and what they're looking for.
Yep. And how it's structured. Absolutely.
Okay. So, that's sort of what I'm seeing from my side is about user intent, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
the user shows up to Google and we all our users, we're all searching and saying, what is it? We're saying something, we want something back. And that's the kind of brilliance of AI in that it can do a quick search and parse an actual answer. Now, of course, it's going to give us multiple options and still going to give us links to continue to do our own research, which I think is good. But so what I did was, and not to not include AI in this conversation, I went to ChatGPT and said, okay, here's my question: what role does AI play in understanding user intent and improving content relevance? All right, I'll tell you some of the things it said, and I want to give you feedback. So the first one says user intent analysis. Algorithms can analyze search queries to discern the underlying intent behind them. It involves categorizing queries into informational, navigational, transactional, and commercial investigation intents. Okay. Understanding user intent helps in creating content that directly addresses what users are looking for and improving relevance and user satisfaction. And then, so that's user intent analysis, and then contextual understanding. So understand the context allowed to interpret ambiguous queries and provide accurate results. And it goes on about how they do that. Semantic search enables semantic search, which focuses on the meaning behind words rather than just matching keywords. Behavioral data analysis. It analyzes user behavior data such as click-through rates, dwell time, bounce rates. This is where I think it gets a little wild.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it can go out over the web and pull back in seconds this data, analyze it all the way through to what they are predicting that this user is going to do on a certain site.
Yeah.
It's like kind of blowing my mind a little bit on, both like to my initial question of like, how does this kind of change everything we've been working on and, get rid of some things in a negative way, but also to the positive for those businesses, to your point, that are out there doing the right things and making, the right content, being a resource, educating and doing all this. It seems like if us as brands on the user side of, like, you look at the whole user experience sort of from search or ad through to purchase, if they hit the website and we're giving them what they need, and we're thinking about Google in the process of that, but not Google first, then we potentially are going to win, because AI is sort of becoming the brain that's trying to think like the business and the user.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
I like how in the response it said users intent. So I focus on that a lot. Like I always tell people, think of the transactional, and it even said in there transactional searches. Yes. So you want to literally code your website for transactional and your Google Maps. So if someone's searching, a roofer near me, right, dentist near me, that near me is a qualifier beyond like that is the kind of the holy grail of local SEO and local search is sure. And it's funny because, like I said, I'm in Arizona and I own a bunch of equipment in my business. And if you search certain equipment rentals near me in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Orlando, Nashville, my Arizona business shows up number one above Sunbelt Rentals, United Rentals, shows up number one. And I'm nowhere near, well, I'm kind of near Las Vegas. I'm kind of near Los Angeles because I'm in Phoenix. But I'm nowhere near Orlando, Florida. But I show up number one, and it was hilarious. Like the Orlando airport called us one day. They're like, hey, we have this equipment? And I'm like, yeah, it's a little far to truck it. And the only reason I show up in Orlando because I was doing a trade show there, and I was kind of showing off, and I just wanted to show people, like, look, pull out your phone and search near me. And like, I'm number one, even though I'm in Arizona. So, but that near me is a huge qualifier. And you can literally, like what I said earlier in this podcast, you can literally code your website to show up for the near me search term in any city you want. You don't have to be near that city. It's amazing. It's just a search term.
Yeah, that's a great, pulling just out that one point. Thanks for that. I think that this whole thing is, one side is sort of blowing my mind as to what AI is going to be capable of doing with search and bringing us back good information as the user. And then for the brand, looking at all of what it's telling me here, it goes on to say about improving user experience, content gap identification tools that can identify content gaps by analyzing competitors' contents and using user queries that are not adequately addressed. Behavioral data, semantic, contextual, intent, all of this, it's all very much centered around the user, giving the user more specifically what they came for. And I think you were spot on pulling out the, let's see, what does it say? The categorizing queries into informational, navigational, transactional, and commercial investigation. So that's a really big clue for brands, not just service companies and local, but those are categories you can build content around. And
yeah, so we're going to give everybody, use the tool semrush.com. SEMRUSH. Now, I love that tool. It's my favorite tool because if you typed in there dentist near me and just hundreds of search terms come out and they all say transactional. I'm like, winner. And then it gives a keyword difficulty. Did you know the search term emergency dentist near me has a keyword difficulty of a 19? It's easy.
Oh, wow.
Most people don't even know that. And
well, is it because no one's searching it, or is there low volume?
That's
or
the
what?
best part. There's 90,000 searches a month for it. 90. And it's easy. And I show it to dentists all the time. I'm like, you don't even realize, we can get your website to show up for the search term pretty easy. They're like, what?
Yeah.
They're so focused on their brand that they're ignoring all the transactional search terms. I'll look at dentist websites all the time and it'll be, Lee's Dental. And that's all the searches come to their website. They're not bringing in the searches that are transactional, that have 20, 30, even 100,000 searches behind it. Those are the ones you want to pay attention to. Because people, if they don't know your brand, and it blows my mind because most companies will spend so much money marketing their brand, which is good. But if they spent half that money and attack transactional search terms, they're going to be so much further ahead of the game. Their brand's going to blow up on its own because everybody actually knows about them. So, and then another thing is, if you put your website into semrush.com, a lot of times people think that their competitors are doing so much better than them. And they'll realize, you know what, my competition's not that far off. Or they're doing better. I had one customer in the Orange County area, and they're like, this guy, I see him everywhere. That guy. And I pulled up his stats, and I pulled up that guy. And he was doing 3 times better. And I'm like, dude, you're doing way better. Quit worrying about that guy. Just focus on your business. And so some people don't even realize that. So
it was perception. Yeah, the perception in that case got him. Yeah. Yeah, this drives me back to, and this is what we preach on our Signal Media side, is it's all about buyer's journey. If you really use that as the backbone of your content creation, it allows you to hit a lot of the marks that they're saying here, because informational is going to really play to the top and middle of the funnel. Navigational, I'm not really sure.
So navigational is if they're searching Lee's Dentist. They know your brand.
Okay. So a local,
they know the business.
But the transactional, to your point, is the bottom of the funnel. Typically, they're ready. They're in market, right? They're ready to make some kind of purchase.
Got the money in the hand.
Move toward the purchase.
Emergency dental. That is so transactional. Oh my gosh, mouth is killing me. I got to go find a dentist, or I locked the keys out of my car. Man, I need to find a pop-a-lock guy, right?
Locksmith. Yeah. So if it sounds like, if I could take maybe sort of make some advice for you, it's what I think you're saying is start with the transactional, because those are the ones that will turn into sales, which kind of gives you more immediate ROI, allows you to reinvest up the funnel to these other types of content.
And it's not as hard as people think. Like I said at the beginning of this, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Wow. Okay. Okay, so let me give you a sort of scenario of something I'm involved in, and I want you to tell me. This is sort of just my
All right.
personal, I'm going to get some of your expert advice real quick here on air. So I'm a part of a YouTube show called Expandable, and it's a partner with a bank client of mine, and it's a show that he and I get together and we record episodes talking to about small business growth, right? All the things you should be thinking about, operational efficiency, financing, all the different things. And so the primary goal for the show is for his brand and his bank to use it for SEO, because I thought, right, we'll make these long form podcasts, we'll put them out on YouTube, we'll link them back to service pages, and we'll embed them on the website, which we're doing. So I really like this idea of long form podcasts or YouTube shows or whatever for partial use of SEO, because there's lots of other uses, meaning their internal sales teams can utilize the content to, for business development. It helps for the educational process for people that are actually not using search, but using other ways through the buyer's journey. So there's lots of ways, but for the SEO side of it, how should we be thinking about really maximizing SEO with a show like that?
So you have a website connected to it all, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I always say hands down, blogging is it's gold. So every time you do a show, do a blog about it, embed the YouTube video in the blog. Other things, like you can search out, this is something that I do all the time, and I don't really tell too many people about it. But if you search other people in your same industry on YouTube, put a little link to your YouTube podcast or your YouTube stuff or your website. Put the links in the comments of other people's YouTubes
in the comments
that are related to business or whatever you're doing, right? And that builds tons of authority. It also helps index stuff. So I would do blog posts and I would put some links on YouTube, and that's a fantastic way to build a little bit of steam and a foundation. But if you think about it, if you do a blog a day, doesn't sound like a lot, but a year from now you have 365 blogs. Like, it's a lot of content. And blogs are breaking news. Like, Google's like, what's going on? The other benefit to a blog post, and I didn't mention this earlier, are the tags. So again, if you want to be piano teacher Brooklyn, like, you do that blog post, you tag it. So the tags tell Google what search terms that blog should show up for. So you're literally telling Google, I want it to show up for this search term, that search term, and that search term. So I'm a huge fan.
You're talking about the metadata behind the back end of the blog post.
Yep. Yeah. And if you have a WordPress website, it asks you what tags. Most website builders will ask you what to tag a blog post with. And if it's a YouTube video, then it's the hashtag. And it asks you for tags too. So.
Sure. Okay. So if a brand new company started, like I was talking about, I'll start a post service or any other kind of company. It's in a noisy space where there's already competitors that have a 25-year-old domain. What strategies should they deploy to get found quicker, build solid and I'm talking about primarily lead gen.
Well, I mean, without paid ads, you're talking, right? Like, sometimes, like, that's a point where you're going to pay for ads and get the ball rolling. But
there needs to be a multi-level or multi-tier approach.
So Google Maps is usually the fastest way to get up there. So what I was talking about before, doing your URL / the city / your service, get reviews on your Google Maps for sure. And I would do autoblogging.ai. That's the website. I think I said it wrong before. Autoblogging.ai. I would use the heck out of that. Now, my business is called Collaborate Pros, because a little secret to our sauce that a lot of people don't know or a lot of people don't realize is, if you're starting a pool company, go join a Facebook group with a ton of other pool cleaning companies across the whole U.S. And then you make friends with them, and then you ask them this: hey, man, I'm going to put a blog on my website, and I'll put a link to your website in my blog. Can you do that for me? So if you start connecting your pool cleaning company to 10, 15, 20 other pool cleaners around the United States, you're going to start showing up on page one because Google's like, why do all these pool cleaners love Lee's pool cleaning service? Lee's doing
Yeah.
something right.
Yeah.
And that's not hard to do. I guess you have to be friendly.
No.
Most people are friendly. So get on Facebook,
Yeah.
find a group, and start chatting it up. I say be friends with all your competitors, man. That's like,
Yeah.
that I think is so much more powerful than anybody in this world realizes.
Yeah. That sounds like a great strategy. And along the way, you meet a bunch of people that you learn from, and they learn from you. And I mean, it's like you're backing into human nature. Human nature is to be in community. And I'm a big proponent of the future, as I'm sort of saying now, the future is human, but we're utilizing AI to make us better. But community, people always are going to want community. They're always going to want what we're doing right here, even if it's virtual. So I think, it's like what I'm taking from this again is just coming back to that same philosophy. Is like, how do we as humans operate? What do we naturally want? And then, serve those things.
Yeah. So that tip I just told you about surrounding yourself with other pool companies,
mm-hmm.
I'll give a little deeper dive to that tip. Remember I told you about those people ask questions on your homepage? So you want to put a link within there on your homepage to somebody else in the pool company industry. The homepage, what did I say, has the most authority, the most power.
Yeah.
So if you have a link on your homepage going to another pool cleaner, even if it's going out, not coming in, you're going to associate yourself with other pool cleaners. I have a guy in Atlanta, Georgia, huge city, right? I literally got on his website and I did 3 pieces of content on the homepage and I linked to other people in his same industry. I'm not lying. In 6 days, he had like 7 search terms jump all the way up to the first page of Google.
Oh, wow.
Just because I put links out to other people in his industry. And those weren't even links coming in. Most people are like, oh, I don't want to link out because my link juice and my authority. When you link out to other people in your industry, you're associating yourself with that industry and other people who are in authority. So that's a huge nugget. Okay. I don't usually share that one.
Yeah.
So that one's huge.
Yeah, that is huge. I appreciate that. We'll take that one.
Yeah, that one's huge.
So how do you, as an expert in what you do, how do you stay in front of all the changes? How do you follow, who do you follow and who do you look to for advice on SEO?
I follow Jesus.
Hey,
who do I look to advice
I like
on
that.
SEO? I had some mentors along the way. I love just, a little bit of a shiny object guy. I love scrolling through Facebook and ooh, I'm going to check that out. Ooh, I'm going to check that out,
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll check stuff out and sometimes they're legit. Sometimes it's but I have a group of guys. So when I got out of my window cleaning business, I paid my education in the SEO world. I went and joined a group and I collaborated with a bunch of other SEO guys. These guys were doing SEO for insurance, big stuff, right? Affiliate marketing. And I would go to Nashville a couple times a year. I'm still friends with those guys. So, we chatted up every now and then. But yeah, I'm just
so you have sort of an inner circle.
Yeah. I've got a circle of dudes. And yeah, I'm a sucker for knowledge. I'm always reading stuff. I'm always watching YouTube videos. I'm always looking at what other people are doing, So that's how I stay up to date.
Awesome.
That's kind of how I evolve. But I came up with a system about 4 years ago now. It was during COVID. Is COVID that long ago? 4 years ago. Yeah, it was 2020. Man,
yeah.
It's a lot shorter than that. But yeah, when COVID came, my wife and I moved up to our cabin in the mountains and I'm like, you know what? Starting this marketing business because that's what I've always wanted to do. And I had this little system that I'm like, you know what? I think if I did these 4 things, I think it's just going to work amazing. And still to this day, I don't know other SEO guys that do the little method that I do. And I did some case studies. I'm like, hey, I'll try it out for 10 businesses for free. And all 10 of them shot up to page 1. And they were different industries. And I was like, yeah, this is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun seeing other people's success. It's fun, helping other business owners.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, hey, thanks so much for all your advice and taking us down this rabbit hole. This has been an itch that
we can keep going, man. This is fun.
Yeah, and I definitely want to keep going. I want to come back, and dig more, deeply into this, because we just scratched the surface, because we start talking about all the things that AI was telling me, even just user experience,
Hey,
buyer
remember,
journey, those kind of
hold on.
things.
Remember the political world, how confusing it is? It's not that
Yeah,
confusing.
no, it's not. No,
You're reading all the stuff
nothing is
AI is
confusing.
saying. Google's got all these books. It's
Yeah,
really not that confusing.
yeah, nothing is as confusing as the political world.
Yeah.
But yeah, but thanks, and we'll have to have you back. If I want to send people your way, where do I
Yeah.
send them?
Collaboratepros.com. Pretty easy, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and are you on LinkedIn?
Yes. It's all of our handles are Collaborate Pros, so you should be able to find us. Yep.
Awesome. Hey,
Lee,
thanks
it was
again.
wonderful. Had a great time. Have a wonderful day. God bless.